Hey everybody. How are you guys doing?
That's my seat.
I think I'm here, yes?
Yeah.
Very good. Welcome to my home. I'm Dr. Mark Hatala, and today we're going to be talking about the supernatural. And so, actually, I won't be giving a speech about the supernatural, but I thought we could have everyone introduce themselves, so if we could go around.
I'm Annie.
Hi, I'm Ashley.
I'm Maddy.
I'm Zach.
I'm Will.
Outstanding. So even today, and this is 2019 when we're shooting this, there are people who believe in supernatural causes of events that occur. And so I thought we would talk a little bit about things that we think might have a supernatural origin even today that we can't explain. Who would like to go first?
I actually want to
Very good.
push back on that qualifier of even today, because I think the word supernatural inherently we could define it as anything that has an explanation outside of the natural sciences like biology. And the cosmology of the universe is a pretty constant target of that from most religions. I don't think I know any religions that say that it wasn't created by some kind of deity. So I think that's the most obvious example, or the most common one. Maybe.
Okay, and there are people who believe in creation theories in 2019. Yeah. Very good. Who would like to go next? Well, go ahead. Absolutely.
So it'd be really easy to just talk about sports curses. I think curses in general. Curses are very interesting. The idea of, having, for whatever reason, some sort of
I watched the ball go through Bill Buckner's life.
Well, I was going to say it'd be easy. I could sit there, the Red Sox curse the Bambino, or the Cubs have the Billy Goat. But I actually think movie curses are more interesting.
Please.
On movie sets. And typically it's horror movie related. They seem to, not ironic at all, I guess. But and there are a lot of them. Poltergeist probably has the most famous across a trilogy of movies in which I want to say is about 5 cast and crew members passed away. One of which was the main star of the franchise, a little girl. I think her name is Heather O'Rourke. I think that's
They're here person.
Yes, the little girl that says they're here passed away in a very tragic, basically it was surgery related and shouldn't have happened. And The Omen has a very famous one, but I think the most interesting one, because it's also based off of true events, is The Exorcist.
Okay.
The Exorcist, especially being from St. Louis, you hear about The Exorcist a lot because part of it took place in St. Louis.
Okay.
The actual events. And that alone, there's a lot of pushback, obviously, on whether that was real or not, and also how much, regardless, if it was done today, would it just be a medical, they had some sort of mental, disability or illness. And how much was it a supernatural thing? How much was it, that? But the movie itself also has a curse in which interesting things happened related to crew members passing away and whatnot. And
is there anything about Linda Blair's career dying? Is that
actually people joke a lot about that? That was part of the curse. Is that Linda Blair's career was but on the opposite end, you have The Passion of the Christ.
A Martin Scorsese film. No,
that's Last Temptation of Christ. Passion of the Christ is the Mel Gibson movie.
Mel Gibson.
But in which the main star, Jim Caviezel, was struck by lightning twice during filming. He was also accidentally whipped during a whipping scene, was actually hit by a whip. He suffered from pneumonia, being up on the cross while filming.
I think that all pales in comparison to being struck by lightning twice.
Sure, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
I think somebody's trying to tell you something.
One, that's the thing. It's like, what's going on?
The first time
here?
would be significant, but
I just think it's interesting though that these are all either horror movies or somehow religious related.
Sure.
The Exorcist, The Omen is about obviously the son of the devil, and it's just interesting how that of course has now people say that is the curse of these movies.
Sure.
And I just think that's super interesting because obviously you can never prove any of these at all. But the fact that there are people that's like they hear some of these crazy events that happen, it's like that is kind of odd.
Yeah,
that
maybe it
all
is
these
something.
things could happen. So I think I just have always been fascinated by like movie-related curses, personally.
Other supernatural. Ashley?
Yeah, on fascinations that you've had for a long time, I've always been a fan of like fairies, the fae, and like supernatural humanoids. Like basically the idea that like there are creatures that exist that are like us but better, and like you could potentially find them or potentially, you know, interact with them, and that there's a whole nother world that's lying within our own that you just don't have the capacity to see or is being kept hidden from you. Like, I was one of those kids who like was very much, I was like, fairies are real, I'm gonna find them, I'm gonna prove that they exist, you know? But at the same time,
Were you successful?
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't be here if I was successful.
Oh, that's true. That is true.
I would be off with the fae. But I like, no, it started when I was little. I liked really like changeling stories and like Tinkerbell and things like that. And it kind of evolved into like looking into more of it and like the cultural significance of it. Like I really liked the concept of the fae and like from like Celtic tradition and like fairy circles and like people, children that would just disappear, things that would happen that nobody could explain, things that they would see in the wilderness, and just like trying to find things that always ended up being just out of reach. And I think that, I mean, nowadays, I don't really think that the fairies are out there. I mean, I'm sorry if you are and you're watching, but I mean, I've since kind of given up on the search, but I think that it is a really interesting explanation for when you feel like you just can't reach an explanation.
Sure.
Like saying that there's something that's being intentionally hidden from you kind of takes the blame off of you for not being able to solve why are the mushrooms growing in a circle, or why did I see a light in the forest and then it always disappears right when I go to find it, you know? It kind of, if it's that is sentient and it is intentionally hiding from you, then you don't have to blame yourself for being like a bad tracker, because it's like, I can't find them, nobody can find them.
But see, I think that segues well into what I was going to talk about, so I like that. I think UFOs are really kind of what you're talking about too. Unidentified flying objects, and a lot of people believe in them, and I don't know if we'd say they're supernatural or extranatural or something like that, but for example, Muhammad Ali, who I admire a lot, he had a number of occasions where he felt like he saw them. He would go running early in the morning and he saw them, and I think there is military footage that says that these are unidentified. They can't identify what it is. It doesn't move like a plane. And so I think that's something that in our time that fits that too, but it's similar.
I also like that a lot. There's a lot of things in the description of fae and the description of like Martians and aliens that are very, very similar. There's a large following of people that think that they're the same thing, that we're all chasing like aliens or some other creature that we just can't find, but that they're the same thing at the end of the day. Like the way that they describe the fae in some texts is like bald with like really, really large eyes and like sharp teeth, and that they're very tall, and like that description is very similar to some of the descriptions of people who claim that they've seen extraterrestrials.
Right. Or alien abductions or something. Very good.
I can talk next. I think this question's really interesting because it's really just like a lot of like conspiracy theories in a way, and like not trying to like delegitimize what we're talking about. But it is really interesting, and a lot of them do stem from theories. But I'm really interested in things that happened like a really long time ago that people are kind of like really like can't come up with like really good explanations for it, and like the whole thing with like witches and stuff back in the day and how they like kept burning people. It's like, well, what did they do? Like, why couldn't they explain like what was happening, or they just like really didn't like somebody and they're just like, oh, she's a witch burner.
Sure.
You know? But like there's the whole like Roanoke colony too, who like, I know there's a lot of like theories about like the Native Americans and stuff, but they like completely disappeared. Like they can't find like remains and stuff of them very much, or like any of their like old stuff.
They left one word behind carved on a tree.
Yeah. So it's just like,
Croatoan.
Yeah.
And nobody knew what that meant either, and they still don't know what it means.
it's like what happened to them, where'd they go, where'd all their stuff go,
Yeah.
and stuff. So, yeah.
Outstanding. Maddy, what do you think?
Yeah, well, one of the things I wanted to talk about was like crop circles, and I think that kind of like building off
Signs,
of
a movie with Mel Gibson. Please.
Yeah, it's just like people
circle.
say that they're like signs from like extraterrestrial life or supernatural
Yeah.
beings who are leaving signs for us to like decipher or whatever. I think that there are totally reasonable explanations for them, like just kids playing pranks or something like that.
I don't know, that's pretty elaborate for a prank.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you never know.
You never know.
And
Kids
so
do the darnest things.
they do the darkness.
It could be the Fae.
Or
It could be the
dolphins telling us to leave.
or
That's the thing.
supernatural life, or who knows what. But I think that's an interesting thing that we see and don't really have an explanation for it. So we are like, maybe it's supernatural.
Well, and I also feel like the concept of the supernatural, like there's always this idea that there's another explanation for it. Like we like science. What's with the quote? Magic is just science that we don't understand yet.
Sure.
So like the idea that even if we can't figure out an answer, that there is an answer for it and it fits within our current realm of thinking, and that there's nothing extra going on. But I do like the concept of like the supernatural for like all of these things, because I feel like it does provide an explanation, and something that I feel like humanity as a concept is like looking for in most situations, is that there's more to this world than just what we're seeing. You know, that there is a god or a creature or something else that's going on that explains some of the things that we, in all the time that we've had since beginning to 2019 to figure out, you know, that we still can't explain some things, and that one explanation could be that it's because it's outside of our realm, you know, that it's something else interfering. And I do think, especially with aliens, that that's not entirely crazy to think of. You know, like we say conspiracy theories, and like there comes this connotation of like not being intelligent and believing in them. But like
Also Mel Gibson movie, I might point out.
Yeah, Richard Donner movie.
Yeah.
But the idea that there is something else out there, I think, is a compelling thing for a lot of people, because it kind of makes sense, you know, that there could be something else there, that what we believe is the restraints of our world is not just what we think it is.
Yeah, it's almost more ridiculous to imagine that there is nothing else out there, considering how vast and huge and immense that
Well,
is.
it goes all the way back around to what Zach was saying too. Religion is a way to explain origins of the way things are, and perhaps in how the things are now.
Now we come full crop circle.
Very good.
Conspiracies are sometimes right.
Ooh.
That is true too.
Watergate was a conspiracy.
Oh.
It was. No, that is true. How about if we ask people to leave comments about things that we haven't mentioned that you believe could have a supernatural origin? And we also want people to like this video, subscribe,
And comment.
and leave comments below.
Especially if you have proven the existence of fairies.
Please do. I'm waiting.
Or have searched.
Please.
Ashley can get her like sense of happiness back.
But thank you for joining us, and have a great day. There we go. Thank you, guys.